Welcome back to Raise Your Child Bilingual in whatever language you speak. Even children who feel comfortable with the minority language may have times or entire days when, for some reason, they refuse to use it. The first few times that my children refused to use the home language, my native language, I was desperate. I thought that they will never want to use it again, that the effort and love put into trying to raise them bilingual had been wasted, and nonsense like that. This will happen. There will be times in which, for some reason that we may never get to find out, the child refuses to use your language. My advice is, keep calm, put a poker face, and do not let your frustration show. So, what to do? This depends on a few things. It will depend on the age of the child. To an older child, you can explain, you have a perfectly good way of saying that in whatever language, so please do. It will depend on what the child is trying to tell you. Are they asking for something? Then we can say, well, please ask me in whatever language. And in that way, we can try and get them to use the minority language with us again. Maybe they are struggling to express themselves. This is very common. They are missing words or don't want to make mistakes. If they struggle to convey what they want to tell you, prompt them, help them, get them to get it out. If they make mistakes, maybe you can correct them and get them to say it again, this time well. Keep it cool and make it easy. It shouldn't sound like a lesson. It can also depend on the vibe in the moment the child is refusing to use the language. This is very important too. If the atmosphere is relaxed, you may say, sorry love, I don't understand whatever language. Please use whatever other language. This has worked for me well most times. Now, what if the atmosphere is heavy? There's crying, we're all tired, grumpy, and have no patience. Well, as in any situation of this kind, monolingual or multilingual, keeping calm works better than not. There are a few tricks we can use that, again, will work better or worse depending on the factors I said before, age of the child, what they're trying to say, and what is the mood in the moment. So my ideas: give incentives. Same as when you want the children to tidy up the room. It could be the promise of doing some baking or outing or whatever you know your child likes. Activities and outings are a great way of using the minority language, by the way, as we have said many times. Ask them if they want to fly to the country of the minority language, the country where you grew up, and spend time there, hotels, friends, grandparents. Kids love that. So telling them for them to fully enjoy the journey, they need to know the language well, so they need to practice with you now. Movies again. If they refuse to use the language, you can put a movie on DVD or YouTube. Make a point of always playing movies in your language each time. I have found that after the children have seen a movie in my language, it is easier for them to continue using it once the TV is off, and even if they have refused to use it before. Promise screen time and keep your promise. This rarely fails. Babysitters or friends who are natives of the minority language are an excellent way of breaking the ice if the child refuses to use the language. This person will find it all too natural to speak to them in the minority language, even if the child has been difficult that day. Also, a child that refuses with mom or dad may not resist a third person who has not at one point or another negotiated with their children. Sometimes a small prize or reward can come in very handy. I'm not reinventing the wheel here. You know what your child likes. But the child who constantly refuses to use the minority language can still understand it, which means that we can continue with our long-term plan of raising them bilingual. Now, how you respond to the resistance short-term will depend on the relationship that you as a parent have with your children. and I cannot directly participate in that. However, you can try the options I showed you before and adapt them to your child and the relationship you have with them. Try to do this as early as possible. From the first day the child refuses or opposes, the earlier you apply all that you now know about raising your child bilingual, the better the results will be in the long term. So what if one day the child starts refusing to use the language now that they are a little bit older? There are two positive aspects in your child being older. One is that the child has already been communicating with you in the minority language for most of his or her life, so surely now they are very proficient. Making sure they maintain that level is easier than if you had to start all over again from zero. So the advice here is to keep using the minority language and keep requesting to be spoken to in the minority language. And number two, with an older child, you can reason. Why not directly explain to them the many benefits of mastering another language? Travel, study, work, relationships, general knowledge, respect. You can use your own ideas and discuss with them. There is so much that can be done to get a great result. Successfully getting our children to become fully bilingual adults depends to a large degree on our effort and perseverance. This is a commitment that will bring your children and yourselves infinite benefits. And it doesn't end here. This is just the beginning. Watch my other short videos for free and add your experiences in the comments below so that many more videos are made and many more parents can give their children this extraordinary gift for life.